I know it's dry in many places of the Maritimes, and there's a lot of people hoping and praying for rain. But one thing that dry weather is good for is for harvesting grain. While the dew is burning off and things are drying up, then we're screening yesterday's grain, and it's going up this auger and into the dryer. When you combine through a lot of weeds, you do end up picking up some moisture, so we only need to take a couple percentage points out. So just running air through it is all that's needed. And then once it's dry, we put it up this other auger and into bulk sacks. And later in the day, it's now dry enough that we can continue combining. This is a section of rye, and it is really, really beautiful grain. I really wish we could use more rye in our rations for pigs and chickens, because rye is the nicest and most beautiful crop of grain that we can grow on this farm. And with such a clean crop, it comes off perfectly and dry enough right out of the combine. In addition to being very high yielding as far as the grain, it also gives us a lot of straw. Look at all this straw. Huge amount of straw. Great for bedding. And while Josiah was running the combine, then Wyatt and Brian were finishing baling up our second cut hay and getting it wrapped and set aside for storage. Making the perfect haylage is probably the place where I have the least experience. And so we try a lot of different things and do a lot of testing so that I can learn. My hay meter is showing the moisture around mid-30s, which is where we want it, but for some reason it's counting down all the time. I think it's probably because it's a hay meter, not a silage meter. Anyway, my goal is to be between 30 and 40% moisture so that it cures correctly. Meanwhile, Josiah has been able to go and start combining our neighbor's wheat. We got these grain carts from a neighbor a couple years ago, and while very old, they are handy for bringing the grain back home. And my bird of the day is again a visitor in the Bay of Fundy, which we saw when we were down there near our island field. These are Arctic terns. They have their babies way up in the Arctic, then they come down through. They're only in the Bay of Fundy for a very short time, and they keep heading south. And they winter way down in Antarctica in the Antarctic summer, before coming back up here to have their babies. In the background there, you can see a Bonaparte's gull, so they're a little smaller than even the smallest gulls. They're in a family called terns, but spelled with an E, not a U. They're always fun to watch in their acrobatic flight and noisy character. The last one here is banded. I'd love to know where it was seen and banded so early in life.